Hi, this is Donna Merrill from Donna Merrill Tribe. And, 80% of people start a project or start something in their lives, and then they come to a screeching halt and they stop and they put it on the shelf or they do something else. And this is a big problem. And especially when it comes to blogging and doing anything in your life, doing a product or whatever you're doing. And I want to keep this to like maybe product creation, blogging, in this genre. And they stop. And it's like, well, why are you stopping? You're so great. Why are you stopping? Is it the comfort zone? Is it, why are you stopping short? So today I brought on Marquita Herald, who is my go-to gal when it comes to reading her blog all about confidence and inspiration. And every time I read one of her blog posts, I come out saying, yeah, I feel good. So without further ado, Marquita, hi, how are you?
Hi, Donna. I'm terrific, and thank you so much for inviting me. I'm thrilled to be here.
I'm so glad that you agreed. Now, tell us a little bit about why do people, like, why did they stop? Like, what's the deal with that?
Well, you were right when you said that it happens to a lot of people because it is common, and it first came to my attention when I was doing some small business coaching, and I'd see the same behavior pattern again and again. Somebody would be going along and doing pretty well, and sometimes really great, and then all of a sudden just stall, and it was just very frustrating for me as somebody who was trying to help them out. And I can give you a perfect example. There was this one woman who was just phenomenal. She started her business. She was just so outstanding in the way she worked with the community and just every perfect example for other entrepreneurs. So, as a matter of fact, she was nominated for Small Business Person of the Year.
Wow.
You would think that would encourage her. Instead, it had the opposite effect. It sent her over the edge. It just created major stress. She began changing. It was like she self-destructed. She started doubting herself. She was having migraine headaches. She started losing clients. Eventually, she ended up actually selling the business and going back to a traditional job.
What shame.
Now, that's an extreme example, but that's just how powerful this thing is, which Bob Proctor calls, the motivational speaker and author, he calls this the terror barrier. It's like the worst possible version of the comfort zone wall.
Yeah.
You hit it, and it just brings you to a standstill.
Exactly. And I see it. It's not part of me. Maybe it happened once or twice, but I think it happened once to me when I was. I remember an example. And then this goes for people who are afraid to put their face out there, and also to, their fear of doing videos. Well, I was many, many years ago before the internet in my offline business, and I had postcards made of me. And everybody said they were nice, but I did not like the way I looked. So I took a hissy fit and I cried. And I put them in the basement of the shop. And
Right.
it took me a year to say, you know what? You're taking a hissy fit. I slapped myself in the face and said, put it out there. It's your business. You need to send out these, these postcards for your clients to get more business. So get over it. Everybody thought it was lovely, but I was terrified. I hit that terror barrier, and it cost me a year in business.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, it's.
Well, it may not be something you can see physically, but that wall is real. And what happens is once we bump up against it, or even when we get close to it, we start finding excuses, one excuse after another to avoid the risk of fear and discomfort. And, the bottom line is, just like you experienced, the only way to deal with this is to push through it. There's motivational strategies may make you feel nice as long as you're within your comfort zone, but the only way to get through that wall is to push through it. And you can take small steps, but what I always do is when we see this happening, I tell people to back up and stop. You have to put a name to it. The very first thing you do is you have to admit that this is happening.
True.
And own it. You have to own it. And then you have to take a little bit of time to be brutally honest with yourself to see what you're doing. What have you been doing as far as evasive maneuvers to avoid it? Like, for instance, a lot of people will convince themselves that they have to keep preparing. They'll get stuck in preparation mode, where they have to learn a little bit mode, or they have to, more knowledge, another gadget. I call this crab walking.
I like that. They're going on the side.
Yeah.
Sidestepping.
Because it's making a bunch of little side shuffles that make you look busy and give you the illusion of progress, but you're never actually getting anywhere.
Exactly. I know a lot of people that do that. I know someone that is she's Mensa. She's wonderful. She knows everything there is to know, but she's still not on the internet. I mean, she's on it, but she never even started because, she's the extreme, example of this. Yeah.
Well, and eventually what it comes down to is how bad do you want to get on the other side of that wall? Because this is one of those things where, I suggest a mentor to help, because our family and friends rarely can, they want to be supportive, they love us, but especially when it comes to businesses, it's hard for them to relate what we're going through when we hit one of those walls. So a mentor who is more experienced but maybe impartial can really help us in that regard. But ultimately, it's going to be up to us to decide how badly we want to get to that other side.
Exactly. I know, like, the mentor is the unbiased person that can see through all that stuff. Family and friends. I never go to family and friends when I have a problem. I hire someone, a therapist, a mentor, something, but continuously. Even business-wise, it's like, okay, I'm stuck with this thing and it's not moving forward. Why?
Welcome to the conference.
So I always say to myself, why can't this move forward? And finally, I hire someone that says, oh, I could tell my friends and they could say, you're great, Donna, and why not? But that's not the answer. The answer we have to, and I say you have to always get a mentor or a coach or someone, in a particular area where it says, okay, I'm stuck at this point in my business and it's not moving forward. So I need to hire Mr. X or whatever to help me get over that. So I get that unbiased opinion, that raw, honest, like slap in the face, and they say, thank you, slap me again. Let's go forward, kick me in my butt.
That's so true.
But,
That's so true. And you have to, I think we also have to accept the fact that fear is not going to go away. Fear is a part of life.
Yeah.
You can learn to deal with it, but you have to push with the fear and just accept it. I remember the first time like most people, or many people anyway, I had a thing with public speaking, and the first time I did it was at a conference, and I had just, okay, this is something I have to do. I'm going to get over this. I'm just going to do it. And I got to the podium, looked out, and of course, wouldn't you know, the first thing I see is this woman who was a senior level officer in the organization scowling at me with her arms crossed and our eyes locked, and I just was like, imagine a deer in the headlights thing.
Oh, God.
Well, I was really lucky because a friend of mine was behind her, and the woman, my friend, put her two fingers up behind the woman's head so it was like horns, and I chuckled a little bit. I had to kind of stifle the laugh, and then I just shifted my perspective and finished it. So, the world didn't come to an end.
Yeah.
It wasn't the perfect presentation, but I did it, and I got through that first time. And a lot of times that's what you need to do, just get through that first time.
Exactly. And I find humor, like you just mentioned, a little bit of humor, laughing at yourself. Like I know the
Yeah.
example I gave before of my postcards, I had to laugh at myself. I sat down there and I just said, why am I doing this? Donna, you're an idiot. And I started laughing. I mean, really belly laughing at myself. And it's sort of like through life we have all these breakthroughs we have to do. And I did a product out there once with breakthrough and how people need to break through things, because a lot of my clients are great, but they, like they tell me they can't. And that's the word that, I mean, it's impossible. I don't want to hear I can't. I can't do a video. I can't write a blog post. I can't do this. I can't do that. Well, that has underlining meanings, like why? Why can't you? Let's get into it. Let's get into it more and more and more, and it reminds me of that terror thing that you just said, that terror, what was that called? The terror?
Yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, it boils down to just, like I said, how bad do you want it, and are you willing to be uncomfortable to get what you want? And a lot of people aren't. They just aren't.
Yeah.
And they never will be, unfortunately.
Oh, I know some of those, yeah. And, that's when you say, well, sorry, go talk to someone else, because, you're not doing them any good by just enabling them to, feed the fire of that, all of that. But, it's life to me is a constant growth. I mean, this is why I love blogging and I love marketing. I meet people from all walks of life. I met you, who I never would have met because you were living in Hawaii. I was living in New York at the time. And it was like, how would we ever meet and get, and develop a relationship? It's a wonderful thing, but we have to get out there and do it. We just need to get out there and do it.
Absolutely. And I think everybody, it's good to find, like you were mentioning, humor is wonderful. It's good to find our own little things that help us push through these short bursts. When I was training, back in the days when I worked for a hotel and I was going through this horrible training program, I had no place to go where I could get 5 minutes alone. So what I would do is I would go out to the parking garage and get into my car, make sure all the windows were closed up, and I would just scream. I mean, just scream. And it was just like, okay. And then I would laugh at myself and sit there for a minute, and then I would go back in and get back to work,
That's
But it helped to blow off steam.
Yeah, we all need to break that barrier, and to get over it. And again, like you mentioned, it's how bad do we want it, and sometimes I myself will write down, I'd like to write things down, like pros and cons, so I could see it every time. It's a thing I have always done, and it helps me so much. And I say, okay, these are all the pros, these are all the cons, and the pros always outweigh it. And then I have to figure out how to get to the pro side.
Yeah,
and
that's one reason why I'm such a fan of journaling. But I think if people who are struggling with this would understand, take the risk one time. Just take the risk one time, because when you experience it, when you realize how much you can grow as a person by just taking small incremental steps forward. I mean, and actually be able to push through that fear, it's so empowering, and it just opens you up to a whole new world of opportunities. But you have to do it once.
Exactly.
And the wall is always going to be there.
Exactly. I know. I was afraid. I used to be a good swimmer as a child, and then some kids were fooling around. They tried to drown me. I had a bad experience, so I was afraid of the water for many years. And a couple of years back, I said, I need to exercise and let me swim. So I was okay up to 4 feet, but if I got into the deep level, I would go into a panic attack, and a real one. So what I did was I stood in a 4-foot pool, and I pretended that I couldn't reach the floor. And I wouldn't put my feet down, until I got comfortable with it. And then I went up to the 9-foot. And, little by little, I gained my confidence with it, and I broke through. that barrier, of being afraid of the
Yeah.
water. So now I could jump in the ocean and the waves can knock me down. I'm okay. You know, like, and
Yeah.
I think we could do this with
Absolutely.
anything,
Well, and that's probably, hopefully, that's the biggest takeaway for anybody who's listening to our conversation is, just muster the courage to try it one time. Push. Know that you're in charge of your life.
Exactly.
Push through that barrier.
Like writing a sales page. I mean, the first sales page I wrote, the second one got a little better. It didn't stop me from writing sales pages, And then when I was telling myself, you know what, I want more sales. I want more conversion. There's something wrong.
Yeah.
So I hired a mentor. And I said, what's wrong with this sales, with this, and he said one thing. He said, you know what? You have a video on it. Why don't you take the video off? Let's try that. And within 12 minutes, there was sales coming in up the wazoo. Okay, so there was one little thing wrong, and but it's fine. And again, sometimes we have to hire someone that knows more than us, someone that can push us, help us go forward. But it didn't stop me, and I see a lot of people that give up. They're like, well, I wrote a sales page and it didn't work, so I'm out of it and I'm going back to my job or I'll do something else. They jump around, the jumpers, And I said, but you're fantastic with this, keep going. So, I just hope that everybody's listening will, heed the advice here and break through that terror barrier. We know how terrifying things can be. Things can throw us in a tizzy and a terror, or we can make excuses or, whatever, but let's not stop short, And if you need any confidence building, always read Marquita's blog. I mean, man, I read it every week. I'm there all the time, and I'm always like, yeah, it's like a boost every time I visit you. Like,
oh, thank you. That makes my day.
It is because, we all need it. It's a human quality and we all need it. And you come up with these amazing subjects and, of how to go forward or how to get confidence or, many things, many complicated things that, our life is complicated, and you come up with these fantastic things and you've written books and they're all wonderful and they're I call you the feel good gal.
Oh, I love that. That's great.
You're my feel-good gal. Because, I'm reading about technical things and I'm reading about this and then I'm like, yeah, now I'm on Marquita's blog. Now I could really apply this right now, right here, and feel it and feel it within myself and it's really great. So folks, I want you, visit Marquita. I have her link down there on this blog and visit her. She will make you feel good because she'll help you boost confidence. She'll help you, break the barriers to, don't be the 80% person, be the other person that goes forward and doesn't stop and can break those barriers in your life.